man with the plan.
In Korea, these players are total rock stars. Sports is still kind of foreign to a lot of people. If you look back in history, though, competitive gaming has been around for a lot longer than you might think.
Competitive gaming started in, where else? Silicon Valley. In October 1972, the world's first video game tournament was held at Stanford University's AI Labs. The game? Space War. Riveting. 8 years later, gaming giant Atari hosted the first major video gaming tournament. Over 10,000 people showed up, eager to see which sharpshooter could save our planet from pixelated aliens. Now, the 80s, that's when we saw gaming competitions popping up in mainstream media. And it was the premise of the 1982 sci-fi hit Tron.
Stop, I'm warning you. I'm gonna have to put you on the game grid.
Where gamers competed in a life-or-death tournament. Like with everything else in the 90s, the rise of the personal computer and the internet changed everything. More people left the arcades to play at home and connected virtually to build online gaming communities. It was also around this time that first-person shooters like Quake and Counter-Strike and real-time strategy games like StarCraft amassed huge followings. The turn of the century brought its fair share of panic about the end of the world. Y2K, anyone? So the world obviously didn't end, and that's a great thing because the 2000s kicked off an exciting new era of competitive video gaming, thanks to improved graphics and the rise of giant eSports organizations like Intel Extreme Masters and Major League Gaming. Almost a decade later came the launch of Twitch TV, a literal game changer. For the first time, gamers could live stream their gameplay, becoming the entertainment. Viewers chat with each other and their favorite gamers while they watch or play. This idea of an interactive experience was an instant hit, and a massive gaming community formed around it. Games like League of Legends, Fortnite, Dota 2, and Overwatch showcased complex strategies, pulling in millions of new gamers with each new release.
3, 2, 1. Capture the objective.
Today, gaming revenue tops money made in both the movie and music industries, and major businesses are paying attention. The next big Olympic superstar may not come from gymnastics, swimming, or track. The International Olympic Committee says it's exploring the possibility of eSports in future games. And why not? The audiences are huge, the stakes are high, and the emotions are too real. eSports are here to stay.
Oh, it's crazy. People are absolutely going off. I didn't expect it to be this wild.
Here is just nuts. I mean, you can literally feel it vibrating. And this is the very first season of the Overwatch League. So how do you go about generating this level of intensity in such a short amount of time? It's all about the teams and the cities that rally around them.
There's something about the connection that people have to either the city they live in, the city they grew up in, the city they went to college. Having that connection, I think is really powerful. It's a great driver of fandom.
I started supporting the Philly team, and they recognized that I was always there. So it's really just having the passion and the commitment, win or lose, supporting your team.
We're playing in Philadelphia. All of our fans are really passionate, so we are pretty lucky, I guess. I think it's a good idea, and it brings a lot of new fans to the game.
That's getting this incredible support from our British fan base. It's been working out really well for us.
Who are the loudest fans, Korean fans or Western fans?
When you go to the Korean, there still is some shrieking, but it's a lot of, low-pitched yelling.
Like a deep belly rumble?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a difference in tone, but I think both fan bases are very loud.
And you can just tell how much money they pumped into the production of this.
And with that kind of attention comes high-profile investors. Our boy Lawrence has the numbers.
Esports is legitimately all the rage right now, drawing in tons of gamers, but also some huge investors. There's movie stars, music moguls, and sports legends, and I mean, can you blame them? Revenue's closing in on $1 billion this year. That's with a B. That's nearly twice as much as esports made 2 years ago. You got J-Lo taking some bets. You already know A-Rod's there with her on this company called NRG Sports. It's the one Shaq backed in March of 2016. Ashton Kutcher is now an actor turned venture capitalist after buying into Unicorn, which has a platform that lets esports fans bet on pro gaming. Even Turtle from Entourage, Jerry Ferrera, he She's helping the Knicks with their new esports team after apparently playing NBA 2K real hard. And of course, you got DJ legend Steve Aoki. He's been gaming and streaming on Twitch for forever now, but finally put some money where his game is back in 2016 after buying huge stake in Rogue. Now they got teams out there absolutely crushing it in Counter-Strike, and yes, Fortnite. Fortnite's the hottest, most addictive game, period, right now, with over 125 million players. Are you still not convinced this is a huge deal?
Like, why do you come watch basketball? Why do you go watch soccer? Because you want to see people play live. You want to have the crowd experience. You want to be here and be a part of this. It's crazy.
You just get really pumped up about it because it's still like a sport. It's still like one team being more skilled, more thoughtful, more planned out than the other team. It's just that atmosphere. You just get really pumped up with other fans too.
Looking around the arena, I see tons of female fans in the stands, female cosplayers, and female characters actually in the game. All the players are men. They may not be as visible, but there are women holding it down in esports, like Emily. She's a nurse by day and gamer by night.
I wouldn't really say gaming's my hobby. It's a passion. It's kind of what I live for.
Behind the screen, she goes by her gamer ID, Emily. She leads an all-women's Counter-Strike team. And like any other sport, it takes practice.
I'm pushing banana.
We're talking 6-hour training sessions, 6 days a week.
I used to play volleyball, soccer, dance, and soccer is great and all, but just with gaming, the feeling of where it's all onto you to win a round, you're face to face with your enemy, and the look on their face when you beat them, or sportsmanship where you shake their hands afterwards. That was just a feeling that I never got from playing a traditional sport.
Her squad just wants to win, and in the process, settle the score on gender diversity in esports.
When I first started playing almost 14 years ago, I was playing with all the guys, and I was kind of showing that I could compete with all of them. And now we're seeing a lot more women that are playing. We kind of have a little bit of intimidation factor because guys don't want to lose against girls in a video game, so we kind of make them nervous when they're playing against us.
But before female gamers reach a level like hers, toxicity in the community can sometimes push women away. The Overwatch League commissioner says this is something his team is working on in the months ahead.
As an industry, we need to do better to make sure that our games, not just our esports leagues, but our games, are welcoming, inclusive places where everybody feels safe to compete.
With the trainers of the NBA 76ers by their side, Emily's team Dignitas claims the title of #1 women's team worldwide.
We had all the resources that the NBA players had, and I think that really prepped us, and that's what really helped us get the win, is the hard preparation with the Sixers and just being treated like regular athletes too.
These competitors remain confident that playing video games is their destiny.
There's always been female fans of gaming, but now we want women to be more competitors. And teams like my team were really role models and pioneers in this, and showing that you can not only be a fan, but you can compete.
So I'm having a lot of fun.
Thanks to Golden Boy and Malik Forte, I'm learning it's more about the characters than anything else.
What makes Overwatch so awesome, it's the universe, it's the world. What Blizzard created were characters that were relatable to all walks of life, that are fun, colorful. It's not a gritty, realistic war shooter, right? Like, it's a fun game where a giant monkey can go up against a hamster in a metal ball, right? Like that's silly, but like it's fun. And then the thing that I think attracted players to it was that there were it's a team game, but there's like these moments where you get some incredible skillful plays that can be done by some of these players. It's honestly like awesome.
I feel like in this game every role makes sense, so it's easy to watch because you understand, like, oh, the big character is supposed to be the guy who's like helping block all the damage that's coming in, and the person in the back is just healing everybody. And it's a super accessible game to play. Like, it's not hard to just jump in because you're jumping in with other people. It's very teamwork driven. So yeah, I think that was what makes the game pretty popular.
It's a level of success that might seem impossible to a young aspiring gamer that's just starting out, but so I guess this may be a dumb question, but Are you competitive?
Oh, yeah. I'm taking it pretty easy right now.
You do not have the traditional venture capitalist resume. How did you do it all?
A lot of it, I would say, I would chalk it up to just hustle. Yeah, it was like, look, I want to be able to take care of my family. I want to be able to take care of myself. For me, one of the things that I always think back when I was a kid, it was like, I never wanted to be like wasted potential. So I would look at some of the guys in my neighborhood who had all of these legendary backgrounds from like, oh, this guy was an amazing basketball player, #1 in the state, but started selling drugs in high school. And so now he's like living with his mom. So those stories of like what ifs really fueled me, like don't become that. And so building wealth, and by any means possible, really was like the key metric for success.
So the idea of your company, Play Versus, for someone who is not familiar with esports, can you break it down?
We're introducing esports, or video games, as sanctioned high school sports into 20,000 high schools across the country. So kids can play different video games for a state championship as they would basketball and football.
So are we talking jerseys? Are we talking practice?
Jerseys,
sweaty
practice,
gym clothes?
Physical regimen, yeah. And I think structure is important, and that's what we're providing. Today, kids just game with no structure, really no oversight from parents, no oversight from administrators. So what we provide is an opportunity for them to do it in a safe environment.
Have you gotten any pushback from parents kind of saying esports is not a legitimate sport? I don't want my kid playing esports. Have you heard anything like that?
Yeah, what we know is that we have not received any backlash from parents or PTA groups.
How would you like to see it change lives?
I think the biggest thing that we can add in terms of being having positive impact on kids' lives is to create a safe environment in which they can do something that they're passionate about and that they love and be recognized for. And that's most important to us.
Look, I'll be honest. I love playing video games, but I've never quite understood the appeal of watching other people play. Once you're here, though, it all makes sense. And excitement of my alma mater's football stadium, and never felt at home in traditional sports arenas. And that's something nerds like